Hey now, good morning. Welcome back to your Canna yoga session. My name is Rachel, and I'm going to be your yoga guide today. So excited to have you here today. So excited to getting to share this space with y'all. I just want to make sure I have all my mutes off and all that good stuff. Let's just make sure. Welcome back, welcome in. Welcome to your Canna yoga session. My name is Rachel. I will be your yogi guide today. So hopefully you brought some cannabis with you in one form or another. I brought my joint. I love joints. I'm a huge fan of the convenience of a pre-roll. Grab and go, right? Just put it in your mouth and light up and go. Another thing I love about it is that they continue to burn a little bit after you set them in the ashtray, so it creates like a little incense in your room. So as you know, I like to take a dry hit before we get started actually smoking our cannabis. We want to taste the flavor. We want to taste the terpenes that are inside of this cannabis. The way we do that is just by taking a dry hit. So whether you have a bowl or your joint or a blunt, or if you have a bong bowl, I would just say take a little piece of the cannabis from your bong bowl and taste it, eat it, right? That way we're getting the full effect of the terpene profile before we even begin to start to partake. I'm smoking on some pineapple backyard boogie. Some of our friends brought over last night some of the stuff they grew in their backyard. Jesus, they had giant plants last year. It was freaking amazing. So hopefully we get to help them out with that again this year and do some of our own backyard boogie, right? So I'm going to change positions here. So if you've been sitting for a moment, go ahead and switch positions. Maybe just cross the opposite leg in front, just coming out of your comfort zone a little bit here. Bring that device to your lips. Go ahead and grab a hold of your lighter. I have like 5 hanging out around here. And together we'll ignite, okay? So take a moment here. I want you to take a big breath to inhale. And just softly exhale. Let everything out of the mouth. Draw your device to your lips and light it up. Bringing in our cannabis with intention. What is it? Excuse me. What is it that you desire from the cannabis today? How do you wish to utilize this mama plant, this earthly, beautifully bound plant? Do you want it to bring intention into your life for something greater you're working on? Maybe that intention is just to make it through practice together today. Inhaling again, lighting your cannabis, bringing it to your lips, inhaling together. Bringing that intention in with the smoke you bring into your lungs. Allowing any worry or weariness to just exhale with that breath. Cannabis again to your lips. And inhaling with intention. I haven't had the chance to imbibe this morning. We're going to take a few extra moments together here to just partake in the medicine. A few extra moments here to just maybe you pause between hits, taking a few breaths in between. Just really coming to that intention here. Recognizing we have the power to create whatever it is we desire. As long as it's in line with our ultimate goals, those ultimate dreams, that ultimate reality will come to fruition. Taking a few more hits together. Remembering as we move through this practice today that this is your practice. And here is a guide to give you direction, to take the body into different poses. But as we move, if you start to feel tight or tense in any fashion, please back off a little bit. I try and work these poses, these practices in a layered kind of setup. So if we get to a space and I told you to do something, Maybe back off if it feels uncomfortable. Always giving yourself the space, do what you feel is right for your body, not necessarily pushing into any sort of position that you think your body should look like, or form that you think it should look like, but rather in a space where you can feel what we're trying to feel. I'll do my best to explain all of those things as we move through, giving you different options and levels, variants, modification. Please make sure you have some water on hand. If you feel like imbibing a little bit more, go ahead and continue on with that cannabis imbibing and pause the video until you're ready to begin our flow. Taking a moment here to sit up nice and tall, switching legs again. Maybe this time bringing one foot on top for a little half lotus. And I want you to sit up nice and tall, okay? So we think about the pelvic floor being parallel, that sternum to belly connection to activate that core sitting sensation around the midsection, and then shoulders back and down. Plug some weight into the elbows and turn your palms up in your lap. Close your eyes. Take a nice big inhale in through the nose. And sigh it out through the mouth. Ah. 2 more, letting that vibration come from the chest. Inhale. Ah. Last one. Inhale. Let all the worries of the day out with that sigh. Ah. Bring the hands over the heart. I want you to take one hand on top of the other and just kind of snuggle that palm up to the heart. Feel as if you're giving that heart a nice little hug. So this happens to be the time of year. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So I definitely want to use some heart openers today to allow that love to come from that deepest space within us, that place of pure unconditional love. Keep squeezing that heart gently with that palm, just feeling that embrace around that nice, warm beating heart. Smile. Take a moment to say something nice to yourself here. The only requirement is that you mean it. Mean it. Maybe you don't set the sight so high. Okay. Release the hands down, eye gaze gently comes open. We're going to roll onto the side of our mat. We're going to roll onto our mat with our hands and feet underneath us. We're working into a tabletop position here. I always like to start with a little bit of spinal flexion so we can move that spine around, get it nice and opened up. Good. So with the hands underneath the shoulders, I want you to think about a spider grip. You're going to squeeze into the tip of the finger and where the finger starts to meet the palm. And we really want to act as if we're, holding onto the lid of a jar. Look between your thighs, let your shins and toes disappear. 2 long lines of knees are right underneath your hips. As you push up and away out of those palms, inhale and lift. Stop. Let the belly drop. Let your chest peel forward, and the eye gaze comes forward or maybe up to the sky, depending on how much that spine is already open. Now, on your exhale, press through your toenails and tuck your tailbone under. Allow your tailbone down, and let the chin come to the chest. Relax. Push away here. Soften the face. Start the wave each time with the tailbone. It comes up last, eye gaze forward or up. We're really round and curled. And using your breath to guide you. Inhale, lift it up. Push away. 3 more, using your breath. Squeeze your hips as if you're going to touch your elbows when you round out. And peel your sternum to the belly to protect your spine. Oh, relax that jaw, tendency to clench here, right? And stopping in the center for your neutral. Bring your big toes to touch. We're sending those knees wide. Press your hips to your heels and walk it out. Forehead finds the mat.
Walk your hands out in front. We're gonna go in for a shoulder stretch. So walk those hands super tight together. Bring them into prayer. Get the biceps nice and tight by the ears and really walk the edges of your fingers up toward the top of the mat. Now bend at the elbows as you press through the palms, creating a nice namaste shark fin above the back of your head. You could bring the thumbs to kiss the neck and maybe give it a little massage here. Things are tight or tense. You can also just use the palms and push them together to activate those biceps. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you could always walk those elbows even farther forward, increasing the stretch along those thighs. Maybe you start to press into the fingers and push away through the palm. Inhaling to close and exhaling to open. Few more rounds of breath here, just feeling the depth of your stretch. Soften through your face. Relax your jaw. Starting to feel the openness through the shoulders, through the forearms, through the biceps. And exhale to release the pinky edge of your hands back down to the mat as you walk those arms out, shoulder distance apart. Now, pull the mat with your hands, bring your hands toward your face. And inhale, lift your head off the mat. Come to sit on your heels. Nice job. Hands walk it forward, coming off of those sit bones. Hands find the mat. Now I want you to shift your body weight forward, looking over that ledge, and then curl onto your toes and lift your hips. Find a downward facing dog here. Squeeze into your spider grip, push the mat away. Lift your hips up to the sky. You want to imagine that your tailbone is reaching all the way up, and this is gonna make those your butt cheeks fly to opposite edges of the room. It's almost like they're pushing, you're pulling away from each other, okay? Squeeze into that spider grip. Allow the chest to melt toward the thighs. Shake your head no. Nod it yes. Bring in something positive with that nod yes. Then inhale, lift your right leg up. And exhale, just step it in front of the left toes. We're gonna take a tightrope walk up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the left leg. Use your breath. Exhale, drop it in front. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, in front of the left. Keep going until you reach the top of the mat. Get your feet in between your hands. Find your Uttanasana, forward fold. Heels and toes are a little bit separated here. Maybe you bring the big toes to touch with that little separation between those heels. On your inhale, come up for a half lift. Keep that figure 7 with your body reaching the crown of the head, and then exhale to forward fold. On your inhale, I want you to press through the feet and slowly rise up. Trace a line up the front of those legs. I want you to take 2 breaths to come on up. Shoulders drop back and away. Fingertips reach down. Tuck your tailbone. Reach up to the sky. And exhale, let it go. Inhale up. Let's go. Swan dive forward. We're going to do a couple of sun salutations to start greeting the day. As we inhale, we come up for that half lift. As we exhale, hold it back down. Bend your knees. Inhale, right foot back. Way, way back. Exhale, lines in the back. Good. Shift it forward. Come high on your toes. Drop down to the knees for this first round. Make sure your elbows are tucked into the body. Eyes the elbows forward. Hold on to those jaw lids and bend your elbows to hug your body here. Release the chest and chin to find the mat. And then inhale, belly finds the mat and tops of toes as you lift up for a baby cobra. You're really peeling those elbows back behind you, peeling the shoulders away from the ears. You should feel this in the low spine, pushing through that pelvic floor. Exhale, soften to release. Hands stay underneath that nipple area. Curl onto the toes, press up through your knees. Then find your toes and lift for a downward facing dog. Squeeze through your spider grip. Rotate the eyes and the elbows forward and press away. Start to strengthen those shoulder muscles. Melting the chest toward the thighs. There's a micro bend in the knees here, y'all, okay? We want to make sure that we're supporting our knees and not putting and plugging weight into the joints. Nice job. Inhale, lift that right leg up. Exhale, bring it into your chest like you're a flamingo. This is how we're going to get this foot up and about, okay? Come high on your back toes to push your body weight forward. And then bring your right knee to the outside edge of your body before kicking that right foot in between those hands. Now, if you struggle to get into this lunge, you should try a couple of different things. The first one is just bring it in and walk it up, okay? The second one could be dropping down to that opposite knee, swimming around up and through, and then just returning back to those toes. Nice job. We're all in that lunge. We want to push off, lift off, find a standing splits here. Press out of that standing leg to lengthen, and then rotate your left knee toward the floor. You should be feeling the length of this right leg as it becomes active here. Your hands are out beside you for support. And if you want to lift this left leg, you're lifting from the left inner thigh. Flex your left foot and exhale with a nice long leg. See if you can find Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, figure 7. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, root to rise, move slow. Maybe the hands sweep up and out this time. Press through the feet if you get a head rush. There's a tendency in Canna Yoga to get a little bit of a head rush as we start to come up quickly. So if you find one, clench your booty and push through the feet. Drop the hands down to heart this time and drop your chin to your chest. Just bowing to our first round of sun salutation. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, swan dive. Kick that booty back. Reach it back. Find your downward facing, find your forward fold first. We'll get there. Bend the knees. Inhale, steps the left foot back. Exhale, steps the right foot back. Find your plank. Squeeze into that spider grip. Shift high on those toes. Drop down to the knees. Keep the booty up to the sky. As you bend the elbows, chest, and chin will find the mat. Kick your toes back. Release. Tops of toes press in. Pelvic floor presses in. Hands maybe lift off here for your cobra. Breathing 3 nice deep breaths here. Feeling the belly push against the mat. Thumb stand to the nipple area as you release that head back down to the mat. Curl onto the toes. Press up. Maybe this time you find a plank. Shift it back. Downward dog. Take a moment here to squeeze into that spider grip. Shake your head now. And nod it yes. Lift your hips up to the sky. Melt your chest towards your thighs. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, bring it into the chest like you're a flamingo. Key is getting that knee out of the way. Then coming high on those back toes, really shift that weight forward. You can kick the leg out to the side to get that left foot in between those hands. Remember, you can also drop down to the knee and swim it around and through. Good. Press off, kick off, lift off. Find your standing splits. So when you first come into it, maybe your legs bent, the belly's on the thighs. What I want you to do is use those hands for support and straighten that left leg. Remember the micro bend. We don't want to lock out that leg, but we want to find some strength through those calf and thigh muscles. Then with the right leg, I want you to rotate those right toes down toward the mat. This is going to square the hips and create more strength through that standing leg. Flex your right foot and keep it flexed as you release that leg nice and long down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Nice job. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let it go. Press through those feet. Slowly roll it up. Trace that line. Use a couple of breaths to rise. Reach the fingertips down to come up. Tuck your tailbone as you let something go with a little back bend. Inhale back up. Hands through heart. Drop your chin to your chest and give a little bow. Nice work. So we're going to do another round of our sun salutations, and this time we're going to add on, okay? So reach the hips down, inhale to reach to the sky. As you're inhaling, I want you to come high onto the toes. We're going to start to strengthen those feet. At first, it's gonna be a little hard to find some balance. It's okay, keep reaching. And exhale, sink them down, heels front back, hands come toward heart. Hinge it forward, kicking the booty back. Find your Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale to half lift, exhale to fold. Bend those knees, frame the feet, step your right foot back. Way back. We'll start with a twist on this side. Right hand into the mat, left arm up to the sky. Reach that hand up and out. Don't let it sink down into the shoulder. Good. Then swim that hand down, frame the foot. Kick that left foot back. Find your plank. Moving through your knees, chest, chin. Or maybe this time you try a chaturanga. So with the chaturanga, we still want to use those elbows to hug the body. Then we come to tops of toes. Belly flops are okay. And lift it up. Maybe you find it upward facing dog, or you're in your baby cobra. Good. Lift up, press up, find your plank, shift it back. Find a downward facing dog. No matter how you get there, it's okay. Take your time learning the different ways to find that end pose, right? Squeeze into those palms, shake your head no, let go of anything that's come up. And nod it yes. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, forward, up and through. Get it in between those hands. Get that right knee to be over that right ankle. Now, drop down to the left knee. Release through the left toes. Sink it down a little bit more through those hips. This might be enough for those inner thighs, or maybe you bring your hands, interlace those fingers, and place them on top of that right thigh. Pressing away. So we want to push through the big toe mound on the right foot. Okay, this is going to activate and stimulate that groin, opening up that inner thigh. Breathe, reaching the chest forward. And exhale to soften. Bring that foot, curl onto those back toes, lift off. Press up, power up into that right leg, and lift off that left. Rotate those pinky toes down and stand up out of that leg. Maybe at some point, for a little balance play, you start to hook those hands around that standing foot ankle. Relax and let that left foot come down to meet the right, finding that Uttanasana. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to fold. Slow root to rise, press through those feet. Remember to squeeze your tailbone if you start to get a head rest. Shoulders back, fingertips down. Squeeze that tailbone and reach to the sky. As you exhale, keep it squeezed and cactus the arms for a back bend. Inhale up. Good. Hands come down through heart for a moment here. Bring those thumbs into that sternum. Elbows peel down. Shoulders back. Close your eyes. Feeling that fire inside. Taking a moment here to find something you're grateful. I am grateful for the opportunity to guide you all through this practice today. Thank you so much. Inhale, reach those arms up to the sky, smile. And exhale, let's push that booty away, finding our next Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, rise, half lift. Exhale to fold. Bend the knees and frame the feet. Step your left foot back on the inhale, finding your nice long lunge to start. Remember, right knee over right ankle. Left hand finds the mat. Right arm twists up to the sky. Open up. Really reach here, grabbing for the clouds, grabbing for that sun, grabbing for that moon. Sink those hips down a little more, already starting to open up those hips. Then windmill that right hand down to frame the foot, push away, get that plank. Shift it forward, finding knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Remember, your belly flops are perfectly fine if you're starting to move from that knees, chest, chin into the chaturanga series. Squeezing into that downward dog, pressing that chest toward the thighs. Shake your head no. And nod it yes. Inhale, lift high on those left toes. Bring them tight into the chest. Shift that body weight forward and drop it in between those hands, finding that lunge. Left knee over left ankle, and then we drop down that right leg. We release through those right toes. Good. You can stay right here, starting to lift the chest off the thigh. Already starting to feel the openness through the right inner thigh and through that left groin. You can press into the big toe mound on the left foot to activate and stimulate just a little bit more. Maybe you interlace those fingers and bring them over that left knee and begin to lift that chest. This is going to activate more into that pelvic floor. Smile, breathe, radiate that heart center forward. Already starting to work on that heart center. Smile, breathe, and exhale, release it down. Hands frame the foot on the mat, curl back onto your back toes. Let's lift off, kick off, find that standing L shape. Releasing those toes toward the mat, flexing that left foot, really standing up out of that left leg, maybe grabbing a hold of that ankle with one hand or both. Lifting from the right inner thigh. Flex your right foot, release it down, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, root to rise. Come all the way up. Squeeze that pelvic floor. Keep it squeezed, especially if there's a head rush. And exhale to let something go with a little back bend. Inhale up. Good. Hands release down to heart center. Taking a moment here to close the eyes. Again, going back to gratitude. Keep the eyes closed and inhale, open the arms up wide to the sides of the room. And as you exhale, bring the right arm on top of the left. Give yourself a great big hug, reaching for opposite shoulder blades here behind you. Squeeze. Then the chin is squeezing toward the chest. Then we start to lift the elbows, which lifts the chin, and peel the shoulders back. So now we're reaching the chin forward. We're peeling those shoulders back. We're holding on to ourselves here. A nice little hug. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, left arm on top. Opposite side, grabbing for those shoulder blades. We're really reaching to catch those shoulder blades as much as you can, okay? Then we pull the shoulders back behind us and start to lift those elbows. Breathing into it, reaching that chin toward the elbows. Feel that beautiful stretch, feel that heart hug. And inhale, open wide, reach to the sky. Exhale, draw those hands down through heart. Nice job. So we're going to go a few more rounds of coming onto our toes. That's why I've turned towards you so you can kind of see what's happening here. So with your head facing the front of the mat, you can still be wherever you are, but we're going to work on our feet structure today. So I want you to separate your feet. Imagine one of your feet in between those feet. Okay, so only a foot's width in between those feet. Okay, so it's a little smaller than our hips distance. As we inhale, we reach the arms up to the sky, and then we keep reaching to come high onto the toes. Smile, breathe, keep feeling that shake, that energy, and exhale, hands come through heart. We want to sink it down, finding a little bit of a chair here. So the hands come to the heart, look down, see if you can see those toes. If you can't, peel your knees back a little bit, and then lift your chest. Good, inhale, reach to rise, reach them all the way up to the sky, come high on those toes, feel that shake, that tremble, and exhale to soften, hands come down through the heart. Nice work. Good, drop your chin to your chest, say something nice to yourself. Beautiful job. Yes, make sure you mean it. And eye gaze comes open and forward. Reach your hands down and then inhale them up to the sky. Keep reaching as you come high onto those toes. Feel the calf muscles strengthen. Feel the toes start to gather up some more of that energy as you start to find a little more balance here, hopefully. And exhale, release it down, sink it down. See if you can keep those arms lifted. Look down at your toes. Peel your booty back. Yes, keep reaching for 5, 4, sink it down a little more. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale up. Exhale, draw that energy down through your heart. Nice job. So next, we're going to work into a little bit of our tree pose. Now that we found some balance down into our feet, we're going to find our tree. Okay. Also honoring the day ahead. So lift through your left toes,
Then replace them down. Start with the pinky toe and glue all four corners of that foot onto the mat. Feel your shoulders back and down. Pelvic floor, right? So if you're one of those people like me who likes to kind of kick the booty back, all of your juice is pouring out the front here, okay? And if you're like, you like to hang out like this with the knees locked and the hips forward, then you're losing all your juice out the back. So what I want you to do is think about pulling that pelvis so it's parallel here, like a bowl of juice, a bowl of soup, right? We want to keep that pelvis nice and scooped parallel with the floor so we're not losing anything, okay? Then sternum to belly connection. That way you can start to find length from the heel all the way up to the arch, all the way up to the shoulder here, okay? So really pressing into that left leg, feeling that nice balance already start to sustain you here. There's a micro bend in that left knee, and we kick the right toes out when we're ready. Now don't let the hip shift, stack up, lift up and out of it. Then turn your right knee open. We're starting to open up this inner thigh. You can even take your right hand and push away, starting to feel the openness of this pelvic floor. Then draw a line and kickstand. So this is level 1 tree, right? We're going to use this toe. Maybe we gently tap it here, starting to find the calf. If you can balance on the calf, stay right here. Maybe you give it the assist and peel it all the way up and in, pulling that sole of the foot to the inner thigh. There's a pushing and pulling sensation when we get to the inner thigh, okay? Once we start pushing into that inner thigh with the foot, we start pushing the foot back away with the inner thigh. Wherever you are, grow your limbs. Fall out if you need. Find your kickstand to grow your limbs. But I want to encourage you to see that you can grow. You don't have to hold solid in this foundation at all times, okay? Maybe you sway with the wind. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear my wind chimes outside, but they're going at it today with the wind. Slowly start to return those hands back to center. And then step your right leg out nice and long. Swish your hips. See if you can create a little whoop with each hip as you dip it up to the top. Just really getting that swish into those hip bones, into those thighs. Let it go. Nice work. Stepping it in. Heels and toes come about 1 foot width apart. Okay, so take one of your feet, put it in between your feet. That's how far I want those feet apart. Okay. Inhale, reach up for the sky. Keep on reaching and come high onto the toes. Keep reaching, 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 reaching. And exhale, sink it down. Woo! Bring those hips back, bring the hands to the heart, and then look down at those toes. Feel your booty back. Smile. Good, inhale, reach it back up, come high on those toes. And exhale, the soft, hands to heart. Nice work. Lift those right toes off, replace them down. Pinky toe starts, one at a time, replacing all 4 corners of that foot back onto the mat. Activate by pushing through that foot. You should feel the stimulation into this right thigh, especially if you have that baby micro bend in that right knee. Up that pelvic floor, shoulders back and down, sternum to belly connection. All these little micro movements that are going to help keep our form. Okay? Kick your left toes away. Don't kick your right hip out. Stack. Then open up that left knee, maybe take that left hand and peel that left thigh open. So you can start to feel the openness of that inner thigh. Then draw that line in and maybe kickstand right here. Starting to find your toe onto the mat. Maybe you start to bring it up to the ankle, up to the calf. Maybe you give it the assist and bring it all the way up to the inner thigh. Maybe you hold it here, right? Finding where you feel most balanced, but also at that edge, at that challenge. Remembering to grow your limbs. Once you find that balance, maybe find a drishti point out in front of you, something you can focus on that's not going to move. Feel the fire in that right leg. Should go all the way up to that glute. Smile, release those hands back down. And gently step that left foot away. Create a nice little wide distance. And again, maybe this time do some hip circles. Really feeling that snap, crackle, pop. We just got a couple out. Go the other direction. Nice job today. Yes. Good work. Nice work. Step it in. Heels and toes come together, hands to heart. Let's take a moment to just bow to our standing practice. Bow to the opportunity to float and fly and fall together. Forward. Now, hinge it forward, releasing down. Now, ideally, you're at the top of the mat, but if you're not, it's okay. Make your way there, get to the top of the mat, and we find ourselves in Uttanasana forward fold. I want you to inhale to half lift, and then just walk your feet out, hips distance. If you're unsure of that hips distance, fists, side by side, okay? Place them in between the arches, and then let the arches come together around those fists. This is your hips distance, okay? Then again, remember, don't lock out the knees here, micro bend. We want to activate and stimulate the thighs and the calf muscles. That's going to help to strengthen the foundation of our knees and our ankles, okay? Good, inhale, come back up for a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let the belly fold onto those thighs. On your next inhale, I want you to lift the hands and lift the feet and place your hands underneath the soles of your feet. Allow the toes to come and kiss the wrist creases as you stand onto those palms. The palms are up to the sky. Again, toes are coming to wiggle onto the wrist creases, the heels of the hands. If this is uncomfortable for you or you don't like touching your feet, you can take your peace sign fingers and thumb and wrap it around the big toe instead, okay? Same thing is happening here. We can all bend our elbows to allow ourselves to spread even deeper into this posture. Padahastasana, our hand to foot pose. This is where we regenerate, right? So this is like a cycle, a circle of energy here. So we start at the hands, or I usually start at the feet. The energy works up those legs, down the spine, wraps around through those arms, into the hands and back through the feet, right? Continuing that circuit of energy. So this is a great pose to allow you to gather more energy, to create more energy, just to build that cycle. Inhale, lift the chest off just a little bit, and then exhale, bend the elbows out to the sides of the room. See if you can fold a little deeper. Maybe you wiggle those toes to massage the heel of the hand. Breathe. Each opportunity, each exhale is an opportunity to tuck that belly under the rib cage and fold a little deeper. Last 3 breaths here. You should be feeling a nice lengthening through the back of the hamstrings, through those calves. Binding into the hands here, cutting off a little circulation. And lift those feet. Exhale to soften and release. Nice work. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Your toes are going to spill off the edges of the mat here, and they're going to face in a 45 away. So heels in, toes away, hands into the mat, and start to bend your knees. We're going to start to sink it down. You want those knees to track past your toes here. Now I'm going to turn just so you can see where I'm at. Okay, so toes are spilling off the edge, heels in. And once you get down here, you might be like, oh my gosh, that's too much. Maybe you walk it in or walk it out. Ultimately, we're trying to get the heels, the entire sole of the foot onto the mat here. And we're allowing our booty to sit down between our hips. And then we start to bring the elbows in, palms together. So we walk those elbows into the inner thighs. Palms come to the heart. We begin to open ourselves up for our garland pose. Malasana. Garland pose. We want to imagine that beautiful garland of roses, of flowers, of whatever it is that we're holding onto our neck. So it's really important to reach the crown of the head nice and tall. Smile. Breathe. Feel the inner thighs as they open up. Then release those hands into the mat and walk them behind you. And gently sit your booty back onto your mat. Good. Bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to find our Baddha Konasana. Okay. So with the soles of the feet together, it's also called toddler's pose or butterfly pose. The knees are out to the edges of the mat. Feet, soles of the feet come together. Those toes are connecting. The soles of the feet, heels are all connecting. And there's a nice little diamond shape happening in between the legs here. Maybe it's almost triangular, depending on how far you can get those feet up into that pelvic region. Okay. Now, you can grab a hold of the ankles here to help peel that chest forward, creating a little concave in that low spine. Smile, lift the crown of the head nice and tall. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine reaching your collarbones, your chest, your heart toward your toes. So the crown stays nice and long. The spine stays nice and long. You can use that hand hold to pull on those ankles just a little bit more, maybe elbows out. Maybe you even use those elbows to push the legs down, but keep the spine long. The moment you start to feel this in the low, I should say in the middle back of shoulders, that means you've rounded out. So what I want you to do is think sternum to belly connection at all times, reaching that collarbone forward. Maybe you close the eyes here. You should feel this through the inner thighs, wrapping around that hip. Smile, breathe. Say something nice to yourself here, or bring in some gratitude. What are you grateful for? Inhale to push it away. Lift up nice and tall. Draw your knees together and give yourself a great big hug. Pull your belly button back around the forehead to meet the knees and give a little thanks. Nice work. Now start to lift the feet off of the mat. And gently, as gently and gracefully as you can, we're going to start to roll ourselves back. See if you can take control of the roll. And release it down if you haven't already. Shoulders pull back toward the mat. Nice. Release the legs. And we're going to reach up in between the legs for our happy baby. So we're grabbing for the edges of the feet here with the fingertips. If you can't quite grab the edges of the feet just yet, I want you grabbing for the ankles or even the shins here, all right? We want to work to keep our shoulders back and down toward the mat. And then the soles of the feet are going to kick up to the sky to keep your knees bent beside you. Eventually, the knees will come all the way down beside us on the I joke around yoga goals, right? But there really is always somewhere to go in yoga. It's about the amount of time that you practice, the amount of effort and energy you put into it, right? So, if you come back and practice 3 more times today, maybe in a year or so, at 4 practices a day, you could have both legs down by the floor. Okay, but for me, I've been practicing yoga for, I'm going on 8 or 9 years now, consistently, and I'm still not there yet. I don't practice this pose all the time, right? So again, everything in moderation, or if you want to really take it to the edge, you can go in consideration, right? And do it all. Keeping the eye gaze up to the sky, keep the soles of the feet reaching toward the ceiling, and now I want you to peel your tailbone back down to the mat. Notice how these slight sensations can activate and stimulate portions of the body we didn't expect to, right? So hopefully you feel this on the inner thigh and the groin area as soon as you start to peel that tailbone back down. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale to draw those feet together. Use your elbows to begin to push away on those inner thighs. And gently release. Soles of the feet come, or I shouldn't say come together, the edges of the feet come together, knees come together. We're still holding onto our knees up here. On your inhale, lift the forehead and kiss those knees. Tell them thank you. Now, bring your hands down beside you. We're going to drop our feet with a thump, okay? So how I want you to do this is get yourself nice and prepared. We're going to actually strengthen the spine here as we do so, adding on some abs. So I want you to flex your feet like you're going to try and stand against your wall back there. But I want your knees to stay over your hips. And the way we can get that to happen is peel those feet, peel those toes back towards your face. You'll start to feel a little core activation here in your midsection. And then there's a little concave on your back likely. I want you to take and push back with that belly button, okay? So really creating a nice flush situation here with that low spine. Good. With the hands down beside you, I want you to take a nice big inhale. Really flex that right angle of those legs. And on your exhale, drop the feet with a thud. Nice job. Inhale, bring them back up. Flex those feet. Excuse me, knees over those hip points. We have a nice right angle, or we're working towards a nice right angle with those legs, okay? Hands down beside you. Press that belly button back. Push that button. Smile, breathe in, and exhale, drop it with a thud.
Nice job. Hands beside you. Inhale, both legs up, flex those feet, peel those toes back toward the face. Sternum to belly and belly button toward the floor. Push an imaginary button behind the spine. Inhale. Exhale, drop them. Nice job. Windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Move those arms out of the way. And just let those legs shift over to the right and over to the left a few times, allowing your hip to roll up with each twist. Don't hold on to the belly here, let it soften. And then stopping it in the center, bring those feet hips distance apart. If you're unsure what that looks like, again, you can take those fists side to side, in between the knees if you can reach, or you just kind of look up and imagine that you have the shape of your head in between your knees. That should be about hips distance, okay? Then take your fingertips and reach them down towards your heels. If you can touch your heels, I want you to just walk them away from your booty just a little bit more. When you're barely reaching with those fingertips, I should say, when you're reaching with those fingertips, you should barely be able to touch the back of those heels. Then retuck your chin to the chest. Keep your arms back down beside you, and then keep the shoulders glued as you reach the arms out beside you into airplane wings, palms down toward the mat. Keeping the shoulders away from the ear, maybe retucking the chin to the chest if the neck starts to wander. On your inhale, lift your booty off. And on your exhale, I want you to shift it over to the right about 3 to 4 inches. And you're going to drop down. You'll be on the edge of your left hip. And we're moving into Jatari Parivartanasana, our intense side belly stretch. As you inhale, bring the knees into the chest, and then just roll yourself over to the left, okay? We're working to get those knees up toward that left elbow, okay? And we're working to keep our right shoulder glued. So maybe you take and reach those right fingertips away. And if this left leg isn't laying down on the mat, you can take your brick, your book, and place it underneath the left leg, okay? If the left leg is down, but the right leg's like way up here, take that brick in between the legs so that right leg can drop on top. Then I want you to flex your feet and peel those knees up closer to that left elbow. We want to imagine a nice right angle from hip to heel, okay? Flex your feet, eye gaze up to the sky. So you should be feeling this kind of opposite twist sensation. The top of the body's headed right, the bottom of the body's going left. And your eye gaze is up to the sky. So this midsection is just really being rinsed out here. Breathing deep as you inhale and exhale, bringing the breath in to expand and exhaling to soften. We want to imagine that we're rinsing out that spine like we're rinsing out a wet towel. Remember, when a towel gets wet, we have to twist it up, right? And rinse and get all that stuff out of there. So that's what we're doing here. So don't hold the belly. No need to tighten here. We're not even doing that sternum to belly connection here. We're just letting that entire midsection just soften. You should be feeling the openness of this right hip. So if you're not feeling the right hip, you can go ahead and remove the block if you have it there, or maybe you take the left hand and use it on top of that right thigh. Just take and peel that flesh from the booty all the way down toward the knee. Smile, breathing into this beautiful twist, this beautiful stretch. Say something nice to yourself as you rinse away anything that isn't serving you anymore. Letting go of negative things you say to yourself or maybe to others. Usually the conversation is within, right? As we all know, we are reflections of one another. So sometimes what irritates you in someone else, most often what irritates you in someone else, is one of your own traits that irritates you. Pay attention to the reflections of others in your life. Now reaching those hands back down, opposite airplane wings here, palms into the mat. I want you to squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs. Use your inhale and drop both knees. Oh yeah, back on up. It's okay, you're gonna be off to the side of your mat, right? So we took ourselves off the center. I want you to bring your feet wherever you feel like center is on the mat. And then just lift your booty off so you can refine center with your spine. We'll really reconnect and reset by bringing the knees into the chest, hugging those knees and gently, carefully lifting the forehead up to meet the knees. Wrap a little tighter here. We're really lengthening and straightening out that spine. Maybe give those knees a kiss. And then slowly rolling it back down. Drop the soles of the feet toward the mat. And again, we want to set ourselves up for success here. So get the spine long on the mat. Get those feet hips distance apart or heads distance between those knees. And then start to reach down to find those ankles. Remember, we're just barely able to tap them when we're reaching, okay? And the reaching also helps us bring the shoulders away from the ears. So don't reach the shoulders back up, keep them glued nice and tight down, and then reach those arms out beside you there. Nice job. Inhale, lift your booty off. Exhale, shift it over to the left this time and drop down. You'll be on the edge of that right hip. Peel the knees into the chest and flex your feet. Now drop both knees toward that right elbow. See if you can create a nice right angle with those legs. Imagine standing against that wall or the end of your mat. Your eye gaze is up to the sky and this left hand is working to stay grounded so that left shoulder can be glued to the mat one day. Remembering that if the legs are off the mat, you can take that brick and place it underneath that bottom leg. Or if that right leg's down and the left leg is hanging out, you can just bring that brick in between any amount to start to release that left leg on top. We're not trying to fight against our bodies here. We want to settle into that muscle. So we want to feel the stretch through the top of this left thigh. It increases through that left hip flexor into the IT bend. Flex your feet like you're going to stand against that wall and breathe. Allowing the belly to soften here as it rinses and twists out. You can take that right hand, placing it on top of the left thigh, increasing the stretch just a little bit more by peeling that flesh down toward the knee. Letting go of anything that isn't serving you anymore, getting to rinse it all out and release it all out here. Keep that left shoulder glued, keep the eye gaze up or closed now. And keep those feet flexed. Pretty much the only thing that's actively working here are those feet. A few more breaths, feeling the rinse. And then pressing through the palms, squeezing that imaginary block, or maybe you still have the actual block, squeezing those legs together and using the breath to come on back up. Release those feet down toward the mat. Bring your hips up, reset them into center, knees into the chest. Give those knees a kiss. Tell them thank you. Release the head, release the shoulders, release the feet. You can stay right here, reaching the arms out beside you, just letting the knees fall into touch. Or maybe you start to kick those knees or those feet out nice and long, finding your Shavasana. Allow your body to settle in and soften. Allow your mind to just come to a little bit of stillness. As thoughts arise, just say thank you. Send them away like a cloud in the sky. No need to fight through anything or work through anything. No need to create any lists. Just allow yourself to be present in the stillness. Staying here as long as you can stand. Continuing to breathe through it. There will be a moment where you feel like you absolutely have to move. And in that moment, I encourage you to take at least 3 more full cycles of breath or choosing to move. The moment we start to come out of this stillness, the moment we move, kind of start all over again. Back to the stillness. Maybe you distract yourself by counting your breath. I like to count to a 5 and then exhale for 5, and count to a 6 and exhale for 6. You do that all the way up to 10 and then come back down. That usually bypasses that moment where I have to move, right? And allows me to settle in just a little bit more into the stillness. Still with you, just keep breathing. Allowing that softness of the body just penetrate deep into the mat. Maybe you take a moment of visualization here, connecting with the earth beneath, grounding into Mother Earth, allowing her to bring us a steadfast peace, stability, love, a gentleness. Relax your face. Let the eyeballs soften in the back of your head. Let the tongue drop from the roof of the mouth. Feel your collarbone and your neck begin to soften. Fine. Breathe in deep. Take that breath all the way to the base of the belly. And then let it just flow away from you. Bringing these moments of stillness into our lives and help us create more peace when we leave this mat. Creating peace, creating joy, choosing peace and joy. Really where it's at. If today you were struggling before you came to class, know that this is your opportunity to return to the living world, different attitude. Shine your light in the most loving ways, even when others aren't as kind. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, for trusting me to guide you safely, fully into your body. It's been my honor, my privilege to guide you today. Please feel free to leave any comments below. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any further questions that you'd like answered. We finish off today just recognizing that we are a reflection of one another. What you see in me, I see in you. I see in you, I get to see in me. Thank you for being that reflection. I say, I bow to you. So we end with namaste.